right now I have a bunch of trades on, right? And one of them doesn't look good. It looks like it's probably going to get stopped out. Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock-solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this. Hey, Walter. So I'd be interested to find out what goes through your mind as soon as you lose a trade.
Well, that's a good question, right? Like, other than the usual, damn. I think my perspective's changed over the years, I suppose. Like, I read once a trader who wrote something that I respect this trader, but I totally disagree. And he said that every time you have a losing trade, I truly believe the markets are trying to tell you something. Like, there's a lesson there. I can see that angle. Like, I can see where you would say that, but I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think, like, it's like, if you think about it, like genetics, like it's kind of like genetics. Like, some of your genetics, you're probably happy about, like the hand you were dealt with, the dice that came out in terms of your DNA. And then some of them you're probably not so happy with. And I think of the same with trading systems. So the number one thing I want to make sure of when I have a losing trade is that I did the right thing. By taking the signal. You know what I mean? And obviously, I don't have this problem anymore. I used to have the problem of moving my stops. So I ended up with a different trade. So I had a trade where I was risking 2%, for example. And then because it got so close to my stop, I'd move my stop. And then I ended up risking 3, 4, 5% on the trade because I wanted to be right. So I don't do that anymore. And then I kind of swung the other way where, as soon as the trade kind of went against me, like 50, 60, 70%, I would bail out of those. And I found out that my testing had shown that it's actually more profitable to let it ride. So that's kind of how I trade now, is I let it ride. But the number one thing I want to make sure of when I have a losing trade is that I didn't fail in the execution. That's really it. Because that still can happen, right? Like, you get in late, or you take a signal that's not really that good, or, those sorts of things. I'm sure you've had experience with those as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's the number one thing I look for. Like, I go to the journal it, take a look at the before and after screenshot. 9 times out of 10, it's going to either be like a 1, or, like it was a poor trade, a poor entry, or it's going to be a 4, like an excellent entry. So even if I have a losing week and I have like 2 or 3 1s there, I'm like, I'm okay, because those are just poor trades, so I can improve on something. But if I'm losing and they're all 4s, then there's something to look at, right?
That's right. I mean, I think you've nailed it. That's where I think the major gains are made in trading, is by just keeping your eye on the ball, which is execution. I really do believe that.
Hey there, I hope you're finding this episode useful. I just wanted to let you know that Walter and I give away something valuable every month that helps traders improve their skills. You can enter to win by simply leaving an iTunes review and leaving a comment on our YouTube videos. At the end of each month, we'll look at the comments and reviews from the month, and we'll pick a winner at random. Each comment and each review counts for 1 entry during the month that it's submitted. So if you're interested in that, be sure to enter after this podcast is over. All right, back to the episode.
The other thing I wanted to say was, like, for right now, I have a bunch of trades on, right? And one of them doesn't look good. It looks like it's probably going to get stopped out, okay? And I think I have 5 on right now. So I was looking at this morning, actually, thinking about, like, what did I... And, like, all the other ones look fine. It's just this one,
Yeah.
And people would probably call them correlated too. Like, people would say, why are you selling the Aussie Swiss and the New Zealand Swiss and the Aussie dollar and the Kiwi dollar? Well, actually, it's not, obviously, because one of them's probably going to get stopped out. Maybe it already has stopped out while we're sitting here. And the other ones don't look like they're really going to get stopped out. So, you know what I mean? Like, I always consider them to be independent. And so as long as my execution is right, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And I don't necessarily think that, like, I missed out on a lesson. Like, I didn't see something that the market was trying to show me. I think that's the road to over optimization, and I think that's dangerous. So
yeah. When I first started, also, that's a good point. Like, I would think that every losing trade had a problem, so I would, like, beat myself up over the losing trades. And if I didn't really look at it closely, but if I went back to it, probably 50-60% of them were good trades, but I was just beating myself up over a loss. And it was, I wasn't there to learn anything. It's just a losing trade.
Yeah. And that's because when we first start out, I believe when we first start out, our self-esteem, like our trader self-esteem, comes from our win rate, right? And
Yeah,
what
good point.
I'm trying to say is I'm trying to shift that to execution. I want my self-esteem, my trader self-esteem, my confidence to come from how far am I straying from the optimal execution point, you know? And
Mhm.
so that's a different focus, right? And if you look at the free forums, like all the free factory forums, people are they're always like, it's almost always about
Yeah,
win rate, you know, and
yeah,
it's everything is about, oh, this is a high win rate, this is a great system. It's like, you know, they're not really, in my estimation, they're not really zooming in on the thing that's going to help them the most. I think they'll, if you stick with it long enough, you'll get it, but it's just a bit tricky in the beginning. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Cool. All right, thanks, Walter.
Thanks.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.